We're gonna try a little nighttime crappie fishing. Got him. That is what we came for.
Yeah, let's get her back in the water.
If you want to catch a 14-incher, you got to throw back a 13-incher.
Moonlight crops. There you go. Ooh.
I don't think this is a crappie. Really a nice walleye. Look at this guy. Crappie fishing at night, you just never know what you're gonna get. What do we got?
I think we're looking pretty good, right about where we're gonna set up the
About 20, 25 feet that
house.
way?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really interesting, you know, what we're gonna do, Michael and I, we're looking for really big crappies, and a lot of big crappie fishing is associated to night fishing. But the interesting thing is right now we're using this Humminbird 360. These little grains of rice here, and these are actually panfish. They're bluegills, bass, and crappies, and they're moving around. We put it down, let it circle around a number of different times, and you'll see these fish actually moving. And that's what we found here. So what we're gonna do is, you can see where we're setting up about 25 feet away from us, right back in here, there's a whole pod of fish. Okay, Michael, we're ready to set the hub house up?
Let's get her rolling. All right, we got out here before dark. We're set up. You can still see it's a little light up right at sunset. The sun's hitting the trees or just below it, and we're gonna try a little nighttime crappie fishing. It's a nice crappie, exactly what we came for. Look at that. That is what we came for. Some of the nicest fish you'll get in a lake are after dark. Get these big fish coming in, catching them on minnows, jigs, whatever, and it's just a really, really fun time. I'm gonna let this guy go.
You know, the interesting thing is a lot of crappies are one of those fish, you know, in our northern natural lakes that these fish feed a lot at night. They're really a pretty aggressive predator, and it's interesting thing is you'll catch some at low light or, you know, in the evening. Oops, well, I should get him. The thing is they actually feed the best for the real big ones is at night. Oh,
what happened?
I dead stick in him. That was a bummer. That was a good one too. But as I was saying, the biggest fish will definitely be caught at night, unquestionably. For really, when you're talking really large crappies.
Gosh, oh, there goes my dead stick. Oh, it's there. Oh, there we go. There we go. I seen it rocket, but it's a little shaver. It's an eater. There's one for the bucket, huh? Mm. So when we're talking crappies and panfish in general, you know, what fish should you keep? The lake we're fishing on, my buddy has a cabin on, and I've been coming up here for like 5 years, and he's kind of strict with us, and he's got a rule where he doesn't want us to keep any fish over 11 inches. So we keep all the crappies 11 inches and under, and anything over we throw back. And it's been interesting, in the last 5 years we've been catching more 14 and a half, even 15-inch crappies in the lake than we ever caught in the past. And I think it has something to do with throwing back 12 inches. You know, if you want to catch a 13-incher, you got to throw back a 12-incher. If you want to catch a 14-incher, you got to throw back a 13-incher. So keeping a good mix of sizes in a lake is you know, what the lake should be, and it's how it's healthiest. So, you know, if you're out catching a bunch of big fish, don't keep them all. Throw a lot of them back, keep a few maybe, but if you're catching a mix of little and big, I'd say lean towards keeping the smaller fish and letting the bigger fish go, and it'll just keep the lake in better balance. So.
He's gonna bite.
There we go. Oh, this is, I don't know what this is, Jimmy.
That looks like,
I don't think
I might have another.
I don't think this is a crappie. So this is one of the benefits of using a longer rod. Rods are kind of trending longer these days for good reason. You can fight fish better on them, but you can just see I can, you know, not only, you know, go up and down with it, but it's got just a lot of give. So when you got a long rod, you got more room to move when the fish is making big moves like this and big head shakes. And really a nice walleye. Look at this guy. Ooh, that's a bonus, ain't it? Wow. Look at that, on a little orange tungsten jig with wax worms. On a panfish rod, crappie fishing at night. You just never know what you're gonna get. It's 23.
Yep. That's a nice walleye.
It is. So one thing I like to do when I'm fishing for panfish, especially crappies like this, is I'll rig 2 rods. So I got 2 rods set up here, one with a vertical jig and one with a horizontal jig. And sometimes it doesn't make a difference, but a lot of times the fish will key in on one or the other. So what I'll do is switch back and forth on each jig to see which one they like better when you're working them. So right here I've got a Northland Fire Eye jig, which is the vertical presentation, like this, with a big huge waxworm on it. And we're talking big crappies here right now. So this jig seems big for panfish, or kind of big, but it's not really when you consider how big a panfish's or crappie's mouth is. And the one thing I do like to do on these with crappies is I'll take this hook and I'll bend it out just a tiny bit, because a lot of times guys will miss big crappies on panfish jigs because their mouth is so huge, they'll suck the jig in, and when they set the hook it comes flying out. So when you bend the hook out just a little bit, it gives it something to catch on. So this is the vertical jig I use, the Northland Fire Eye jig, and then right now I just happen to have a tungsten punch fly on as the other one, and this is a horizontal jig, and I put a couple wax worms on it, fishing off the back end, kind of dangling around, so it's a different presentation. So one vertical, one horizontal, and you just keep switching between the 2 of them to see which one the fish like the best, and they'll let you know. So,
you know, we fish in a wide variety of different fish houses. You know, sometimes we fish with the clam flip overs, or like the classic fish traps that are really great. They're extraordinarily mobile, the 1- and 2-man shelters. And then you have something like this as a hub house. And we've been using these a lot over the last couple of years. And the cool thing about this thing is the amount of available space you have. I mean, you actually have a lot of room in here. This is the Thermal X600. And you got a tremendous amount of space. The biggest thing is we use this a lot when we're fishing on relatively lighter ice conditions. What I mean by that, you don't have a lot of ice, you can't bring a big vehicle out on the ice, and you still have a lot of room. The thing is, a lot of times we'll use this as a base camp. We'll set it up and then fish around it. We got all our stuff in, you know, in sort of a protected location. But I know one thing, I've really gotten sort of into hub house fishing in the recent years.
Here comes one. Here comes one.
Oh.
Come on, hit it. Boy. There he is.
Michael, there you go.
Finally, boy, they are being, when the night went down, they got tough. And this is a bluegill. It's a nice bluegill.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. That's not too shabby, is it? I mean, it's 6:30 at night right now and we're catching sunfish, which is kind of odd, but they do typically bite at night. So, yeah, as Jimmy was saying, you know, we're fishing out of this hub house, and when you're night fishing, you got to kind of be prepared for everything that's happening because it's dark and you don't want to lose a lot of stuff. So we've got it set up with a few cool things. So like this fish house right here, we've got an LED light that screws into the top hub of the house, and we got it powered by a battery. It's over there by Jimmy in the bag. So that thing lasts all night, and it's like throwing all this light out here, so we don't have to worry about, you know, the stinky old lantern like you used to do back in the old days when we were doing
kicking it over,
stinky white gas. Another thing to take into consideration would be one of these, a headlamp. So at the end of the day, when you shut this down, it's pitch black out. So you got to put all your stuff away, put it in the sled, and put it in the snowmobile to go. So you just pop one of these guys on and you're good to go as far as seeing what you're doing and not losing any of your gear. And a third thing would be glowing your lure. So crappies really get sucked into glow baits at night. LED glow light with a glow jig on here, and I'm just giving it a quick shot and down the hole. So there are some things that you can use or you should bring with you when you're fishing at night. Little bite, I just glowed it. There he is.
Got him.
Little.
Crop?
Nope, another sunfish.
Well, you're not getting me to measure them up. Oh, they're not bad though.
No,
Good little batch of eaters.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the ones you want to keep if you're going to do something with them.
That's a better one. Oh, let's see what this guy here is. Nice Gilbert. That's very interesting. Nice Gilby. Interesting thing is, you know, to get bites, soon as you glow up the bait a little bit, you get bit. If you put it down there and after that glow wears down, they don't seem like they like it as much as it goes to show you how they can just find the bait better. You put that little bit of really beam them up for a little bit, and it definitely helps. Moving over there.
Well, yeah, you got one?
There we go.
Sweet. Well, it's about time, huh? Nice.
Moonlight crops. There you go. Woohoo. Not a biggie, Michael. This guy here is actually, he's below the 11-inch curve.
He is.
My wife actually wanted some eaters, so I think we're gonna keep this little runt right here.
Nice. Well, that's good.
Not a bad one. It goes to show you where there's fish, there's fish. Right now we're actually fishing a relatively shallow weed edge. And the interesting thing is about this type of situation, night fishing for crappies, I've done this a lot in deep basins as well, in deeper water situations, and the fish will suspend really pretty high off the bottom. I'll be catching them, 6, 8, 10 feet off the bottom in 25, 30 foot of water. So the thing is, it works in a wide variety of different locations. It's not one location, at all.
Right. Yeah, that's what's cool. Like this spot, like you said, we're fishing is a shallow along a weed line. And it just seems like ice fishing, you can fish a lake and pick spots on a map and say, this should be good, and this should be good, and this should be good. But the bottom line is the fish are where they're going to be, right? So you can check spots, but if you find fish with your camera or your locator or anything, stuff's going to be there. So like we cameraed around here and 360'd around here before we set up. Oh, and I just hooked another fish too.
And we're seeing a wide variety of fish. We saw some bluegills, we saw some crappies, we saw some bass.
Sunfish.
You know what I mean? And then, where the fish are where the fish are.
My minnow you can see on the other side, to the side there. Oh, there we go.
Well, you can see him beam up on.
Yeah. I don't think it's a crappie. Oh, it's not a bad bluegill.
Nice.
Gosh. 8 at night bluegills?
I know, it's sort of strange.
Yeah, look at that. It's not a bad one.
A lot of times bluegills turn off at like a twilight.
Yeah, they do. There we go.
I mean, we're at twilight. We had a couple of those big crops on the dead lines, and since that time the dead lines
are dead.
No. Well, they're moving.
They're moving, yeah.
Yeah, they're moving, but it does not seem like it may be that there could be attracting fish, though.
Yeah, no, it's always good to have a minnow swimming around down there, isn't it? I think always.
But I mean, as far as, actually bites, which is sort of surprising because usually night fishing like this, my deadlines are really pretty key players a lot.
Yep, exactly. Oh, here comes another.
Oop, boy, there's one. Wow, look at this. Look at that. See that? Look at him. Oh, look at him right there. He's sitting right on it. Oh, got him. Oh,
nice.
No.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a
sunny fish.
Another Gilbert. Well, I tell you one thing, Michael. It has not been. We haven't been catching the real giant crops, but we have we got a pretty good meal going here. If you notice this here, Michael caught a really nice walleye, which was sort of a kicker fish, but we got a nice little meal. And then right at low light, Mike got a couple of those really nice crappies. And I dumped a couple of them too. So it's really not been that bad of a night, really.
Yeah, I hadn't looked over for a while, but just glancing down, we got us a nice little batch of fish.
They're building this sort of slow and sure.
Yeah, no, it was a fun night. I mean, it just goes to show you that it's, you can go out and night fish and catch crappies, walleyes, and even sunfish from what we've seen here, right?
Yeah.